The arousal gap is a universal frustration. The male partner reaches his peak while the woman is still navigating her response. Professional sexology classifies this discrepancy strictly as a timing mismatch caused by different physiological velocities. Bridging this gap requires a method called tactical de-escalation, which resets the arousal clock by shifting physical mechanics. This strategy requires a foundation of authenticity. A history of imitating or faking a response effectively trains his brain to conclude the act as quickly as possible. Replacing performative habits with strategic pacing transforms the encounter from a quick sprint into a synchronized mutual finish. The strategy begins with a framing conversation to ensure that a physical pause during intimacy is understood as a tool for pleasure rather than a rejection. Frame this pursuit as higher mathematics, a search for a more complex, deeper level of satisfaction that naturally requires a different tempo. The mechanical cause of the gap often lies in the male gluteal muscles. Tensing the muscles to drive friction is a primary trigger for early release. As shown here, gluteal tension compresses the local arteries. This creates high-pressure vasocongestion that rapidly triggers the ejaculatory reflex. Simultaneously, the tightening of the female orgasmic platform increases friction against the partner. This creates a high-voltage loop of physical stimulation for the man. These compounded anatomical pressures are too intense to be overridden by willpower alone. Lasting longer requires changing the physical environment. The most effective time to intervene is during your mid-plateau stage, characterized by the expansion of the upper vaginal vault. Without intervention, the arousal graph shows a sharp spike for the male partner into the red zone, while the woman remains in the middle plateau. To break this trajectory, speak up directly and initiate a complete physical withdrawal to stop the friction loop. This withdrawal causes his arousal line to level off and drop out of the red zone as the nervous system resets. Severing physical contact decompresses the pelvic floor and halts vasocongestion, effectively cooling the ejaculatory reflex. This withdrawal downshifts the physiological engine, protecting the session from a premature finish and allowing for a controlled reset. Pausing intercourse carries the risk of losing your own arousal momentum while your partner cools down. You prevent this with a manual handoff. The moment withdrawal occurs, you take over your own clitoral stimulation manually or with a device. Your partner assists by providing manual or oral touch to extragenital zones like the neck and breasts, keeping the intimacy active without stimulating his own peak. This delegation of tasks changes the graph. His line stays in a flat plateau, while yours accelerates upwards toward a climax. This phase reaches its goal when his breathing has slowed and your arousal has climbed to the point where both trajectories intersect. Assigning these specific roles, her focusing on primary arousal and him on secondary zones, neutralizes the biological timing gap. Intercourse should resume only when your arousal is nearing its peak and his nervous system is visibly calm. Use the sovereign or cowgirl position for re-entry. This allows him to lie flat with relaxed gluteal muscles, preventing immediate tension. Avoid vertical or linear thrusting. Those movements immediately restart the high-pressure friction loop that triggers early release. Instead, use a wave motion or circular grinding. This lateral pressure delivers expansive pleasure for you without creating urgency for him. Witnessing your authentic satisfaction provides your partner with a tangible sense of competence, replacing the anxiety of a quick finish with the confidence of effective pacing. To start this process, have the framing conversation today and set the clear expectation that you will be utilizing the pause button. Reclaiming control over the velocity of intimacy ends the arousal gap by replacing mismatched timing.
The electronic version of all chapters from the full book, She Who Awakens by Alina Chamberlain, can be found at wishforlove.org.